Hey everyone, welcome to Maple Street. My name is Nathan. Glad you could join me today. I am currently filming from my hotel in Indiana, Pennsylvania. It is beautiful here. I mean, look how much green there is. I'm not used to this being from Arizona, so I'm already loving it. Tomorrow, May 20th, is basically a holiday for me. It's James Stewart's birthday. Now, for those of you who don't know, Jimmy Stewart is my favorite actor of all time. He has been since I was in high school, so a few years. In 2024, I've been doing a series called My Year with Jimmy, where I basically take you along the journey with me as I complete his filmography. So the start of the year, I had like 24, 25 movies left to see for the first time from him. And on Letterboxd, if you've been following along, I've been documenting that experience throughout the year up to this point. That's been going great, but as part of My Year with Jimmy, what better time to visit his hometown than now? Yes, Indiana, Pennsylvania is where Jimmy Stewart was born, where he was raised in his early years, and I plan to take you along for the journey as I visit his childhood home, where he was born, where he grew up in, visit the Jimmy Stewart Museum, and basically do all things Jimmy Stewart. The Jimmy Stewart Museum, I've already done some research into it. It looks like a great opportunity. It's not just some thrown together museum with a few fun facts about Jimmy Stewart. No, this is something that was open May 20th, 1995, about 2 years before he passed, actually. He gave his blessing to the museum. As long as the museum encouraged being good and also helps the community, then he was all for it. So this is something that is definitely authentic and legit, and I'm very excited to visit it. After all is said and done and I have to say goodbye to my short stay in Indiana, Pennsylvania, I want to show you my haul from the Jimmy Stewart Museum because I'm planning on getting a thing or two. I am so excited to take you guys along for the journey with me. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, before I get to the museum, I have to point out how excited I was when I found Maple Street in Jimmy Stewart's hometown. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Getting to the museum itself was a surreal experience. I could not believe that I was finally there in the flesh. So it turns out the museum actually does not allow filming inside. This footage you're seeing now is me walking up to the third floor where the museum is located. And so I don't have any videos to show, but I have plenty of pictures that I want to go through. When I got to the museum itself, I was greeted by a very kind worker who was very helpful to me throughout the day. Not only did she give me some facts about Jimmy Stewart's life throughout my experience, but also she took a lot of my pictures, and so I was very grateful to her. She suggested I start the experience out with a 20-minute documentary that was actually narrated by Jimmy Stewart's daughter. The museum is broken up into different parts of Jimmy's life, and so the first section that you walk through is all about his personal life, and I learned that he wore glasses when he was a kid. I got a picture with the replica of the statue. The actual statue is sitting outside of Town Hall in the city, and it's like right next door to the museum, so not far at all. There was an entire room devoted to his time in the military, specifically with the Air Force. They had his jumpsuits that he wore and the suit that he wore while serving in the military. It was very inspiring to see all of it. They also had this cool section where it highlighted his sister and how during the war she created war propaganda art. There's this room that was a recreation of his home office, which I found to be very fascinating to see what Jimmy's world looks like on the inside of his house. There was also another section devoted solely to Jimmy Stewart and his love for his dogs. Really sweet section. And in the moment you've all been waiting for, the Hollywood section. I'm a little biased, but this was definitely my favorite part of the museum. I mean, this is what I know Jimmy for, his movies. And so the way they have it set up is it's all the posters in chronological order, except for the Frank Capra collection and the Hitchcock collection, as well as the Western collection. They did group those movies together, which that makes sense to me. You can imagine I was in Jimmy Stewart heaven. There were posters for every movie he was in, but then on top of that, they had copies of scripts and original scripts. And I got a few pictures with certain posters just because they were such large posters that I thought it'd be neat to stand next to them. Then I paid a visit to Harvey. I mean, how could you not? There were several displays of outfits and costumes he wore for his characters. And then here is the cowboy hat that he wore in several Westerns. But yeah, just lots of memorabilia from his movies and autographs from not only him, but also actors he worked with. They had a section devoted to the awards that he had won throughout his lifetime, and they even had his tuxedo on display that he wore at these award shows. And then in celebration of Jimmy Stewart's birthday, they gave me this Harvey cookie, which I actually don't want to eat. I kind of just want to leave it on my shelf forever and hope that it doesn't go bad, or at least hope that it doesn't show it's getting bad. Something really cool that they do every day is they play one of Jimmy Stewart's movies at 1 o'clock. They switch out the movie every week, and this week it was The Glenn Miller story. I had seen the Glenn Miller story once. It had been about 3 years, and so I was very interested in giving it a rewatch. In the auditorium, Harvey is sitting there watching the movies, and so you can sit by Harvey. It was a really cool experience, but dude does not know when to stop talking. I was trying to watch a movie. The gift shop was incredible. I came out with plenty of souvenirs that I will show later in this video. After the museum though, I explored town a little bit. I took a picture with the statue that sits in front of Town Hall. The museum gifted me with this self-guided tour that really helped me along my way to find all the hot spots where Jimmy Stewart visited or lived. And it was nice walking around Indiana, Pennsylvania and just imagining Jimmy Stewart walking around there 100 years ago. I visited where his first home was, where he was born. The home no longer exists, but they do have a plaque commemorating the area. And then his childhood home that they moved into after does still exist, and I was able to snap a picture with that one. And it was a very pretty house. Throughout the town, there were different Jimmy Stewart street signs. I got a picture with 2 of them. Then I found this movie mural on the side of one of the buildings, and I took a picture of it because there is a reference to Harvey in it. There was also this It's a Wonderful Life mural, which is a little hard to see from this angle, but there's construction happening and I couldn't get it at a different angle. And then one of the coolest things was the crosswalk button. When you press it, instead of the standard wait and then the countdown, it actually has an introduction from Jimmy Stewart. Check this out.
This is Jimmy Stewart. Philadelphia Street walk sign is on the Cross Philadelphia.
So cool. And then afterwards it just goes into the typical countdown, but I thought that was such a nice touch being in his hometown. And then I ended off the visit with a visit to the Jimmy Stewart Airport. As many of you know, and as I mentioned earlier, he flew during the war and aviation was a big passion of his. Out in front of the airport, they have a model of one of the planes he flew. They added improvements to it to make it look as new as possible, but I thought that was really cool. And then I headed to my hotel, and before doing so, stopped at a local place called Kristen's Ice Cream Corner and got a chocolate milkshake. It was pretty good. I just wish they had dark chocolate. All right, so I just got to my hotel in Ohio, and I want to show you the things I got at the Jimmy Stewart Museum gift shop. A quick background on the Jimmy Stewart Museum. I called 2 weeks before coming. I told them that I was Jimmy Stewart's #1 fan, and when I told them that I would be coming, they said that they wanted to meet me in person. And so when I came today and I got to meet them in person, they had a few things prepared for me, which was so nice of them. For one, they gave me a paper that's basically a self-guided tour of Indiana where you can hit up all the hot spots from Jimmy Stewart's life. And that definitely helped when I was walking around town knowing where to go next. They sell them at the gift shop for like $1, but I got one for free. Pretty sweet. And then they were so kind to give me this sticker and magnet. I was no joke checking out and they said, this one's on us. So love that. And then this magnet, which I'm super happy to add to the collection as well. I highly recommend that you visit the Jimmy Stewart Museum if you have the chance. It is definitely worth it, especially if you are a fan of Jimmy Stewart or a fan of classic movies in general. I knew before even stepping into the gift shop that I would be buying quite a few things, so I have no regrets with my purchases. I'm just excited to show them off and add them to my collection. The first thing I'll show is a Christmas ornament I got. They had plenty of options for Christmas ornaments, but my favorite one was this one with George and Clarence. I love this scene in the movie, and that quote, "Each man's life touches so many other lives." So powerful. Absolutely love it, and I'm excited to hang this on the tree. I got a few postcards. Jimmy Stewart Museum, It's a Wonderful Life, another Jimmy Stewart Museum. I just like this picture. And if you spend more than $30 at the gift shop, you get this postcard for free. All right, next I got a t-shirt. I mean, I had to get a t-shirt. It is the Jimmy Stewart Museum shirt. When it comes to t-shirts, I like either simplicity or things that are vague enough, but if you're a fan of the thing, then you'll understand it. Like for an example, this George Lasso's the Moon t-shirt. It doesn't scream It's a Wonderful Life, but if you've seen It's a Wonderful Life, you know right away what it's from. I like those kinds of shirts. So this one screamed to me because it's very simple. It says the Jimmy Stewart Museum and it has a nice shot of Harvey next to a street lamp. I love it. And it also helps that blue's my favorite color. Then I got this Martini's Bar shot glass. You know, I don't even drink, but I really just want this on display in my collection, especially because it says Bedford Falls. This to me feels like a shot that you would see at Martini's Bar. And for that reason, I definitely want it on my shelf. I got this sweet coin that's a tribute to Jimmy Stewart and his time in the Air Force. This is the front of it, and here is the back. And I saved the best thing for last. I got an It's a Wonderful Life Afghan from the Jimmy Stewart Museum, and I have to show it to you unfolded. It's beautiful. All right, let's do this thing. Look at that. It's a Wonderful Life, the Jimmy Stewart Museum, Indiana, Pennsylvania. Like, are you kidding me? This is incredible. I am so happy I got this. I love it so much. To those who work at the Jimmy Stewart Museum, thank you for making it such a great and memorable experience for me. I had an absolute blast. Comment below if you want to see my complete Jimmy Stewart collection. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Have a great day.